This is just a quick video that I created where I took a recording, a WhatsApp voice message that I have sent to a mentorship client that I am working with now. And me and him are diving into his akashic records, into the galactic stuff, into reptilian connections, dragon connections. And he has very interesting questions. And I answered one of his questions in a voice message and decided to take this voice message and turn it into a video for you guys, because this is really good information. When you go look at galactic history, it goes, I don't know if you have ever watched The Flash, that TV show. I think it's DC or Marvel. I'm not sure which one it is anyway, The Flash. And they talk about the Speed Force. But a lot of that stuff is all real, is quantum physics, and is all real stuff. And I've channeled a lot about that as well. That basically there is a time force or speed force or whatever, time vacuum. And for example, when you have all of these galactic wars that started erupting with the reptilians, and there was a lot of division in the galaxy, and you then had this contrast, and it's kind of always like an ebb and flow thing where it meets and clashes and expands, and it meets and clashes and expands, and that is what is always happening in the universe. It's constantly expanding, contracting, expansion, contraction, expansion. So that's always happening with time. And what happened is that when the reptilians invaded, there was basically a contraction period that started, which created a lot of conflict, a lot of negative occasions, like things happening, like the Lyran War, which then expanded to an entire galactic war, including Orion as the center of the galaxy where all races met up. And then there was the idea of creating a society somewhere, which was on Earth, called Lemuria, where they would hybridize a race of Lemurians, and they contained all of the galaxy's DNA. And then you have the human that became the first Lemurian that contains Lyran DNA, Pleiadian, Sirian, Andromedan, Arcturian, all kinds of different DNA, and reptilian, because there were benevolent reptilians, and when they knew how the cyclical nature of the universe. So what would happen is that the cycle would end. Basically, it's a circle, and the circle becomes full circle when at the end of this war they collapsed all DNA into the Earth human, for the whole process to expand again, to go from a contraction point of view to another expansion, which means that we would have to go through this whole awakening again, expansion of consciousness, realizing we're not alone in the universe, all the things that the other star races also had gone through prior to this whole project Earth even existing, prior to this galactic war. Because what we are now doing is we are becoming aware of life outside of our star system, even outside of our planet, and we will start exploring. And then they figured, if there is a human that contains all of these races, that understands that it contains DNA from all of these different races, it cannot go at war because it contains all of these races. And that is like a hack that they put in place so that we would have to overcome this reptilian DNA, basically, and override it with higher crystalline DNA activations, which is what we are doing now, so that this galactic war would not happen again. And when you have contact with your star guides, you could say that those are future versions of yourself, but at the same time, they are past versions of yourself. And because it's already happened, but it's also our future, where we would be headed if we evolved. And I know for some people their brain explodes when they think of it that way, But my plea, like that's what I tell people, like the moment you understand that your cosmic spirit guides are very often aspects of yourself in other timelines, in other experiences in the galaxy or in parallel galaxies, universes, then it all makes sense. You are interacting with yourself on a multidimensional level, and you are constantly embodying the highest parts of yourself. I hope that this makes sense. I should turn this into a video, this whole thing. So that's also what I ended up doing. I took this voice message that I sent to my mentorship client and decided that this is good information for everybody. I have shared this before, one-on-one with people, but I don't believe I've ever shared it online. So here you go.